There's a theory whispered in spiritual circles, an idea many people overlook because it sounds too strange, too unlikely, too intentional. It suggests that not everyone on this planet was meant to awaken early. Some souls are designed to stay quiet, to remain tucked beneath the surface, watching the world shift from the shadows while others rose to the spotlight. These aren't the first-wave teachers or the loud spiritual trailblazers who rushed to guide the collective. These are the ones who stayed still. The observers, the feelers, the ones who doubted themselves even while something deep inside whispered, "Wait, your time hasn't arrived yet." And if you're here now, listening to this, that whisper might have guided you. A recurring dream that felt too symbolic to ignore. A sudden intuition that pulled you into unfamiliar territory. Or maybe it was that strange sensation, the quiet feeling that someone or something was trying to get your attention in the middle of the night. Whatever brought you here, it wasn't random. It was part of a delayed activation designed for a very specific soul group. A group many people never even hear about. Group 7. According to those who study spiritual cycles, Group 7 wasn't meant to open their gifts during the early phases of awakening. Their energy was encoded differently, preserved intentionally, like a seed waiting for the exact season to break open. While the world spiraled through illusions, distractions, noise, and numbness, this group remained dormant until humanity reached a breaking point. A point where only a higher frequency, one carried by people like you, could start to shift the collective back toward clarity. But awakening for Group 7 doesn't begin with fireworks. It doesn't start with bliss or instant understanding. It begins with friction, restlessness, a fatigue you can't quite explain, a sense that something is coming, even though nothing in your physical world points to it. And yet, despite the confusion, there's a strange certainty in your chest that tells you this message is meant for you. Because Group 7 wasn't designed to blend in. They were born to disrupt what isn't real. You may not realize it, but you shift energy everywhere you go. When you walk into a room, people feel it before you say a word. When you speak, illusions people didn't even know they were carrying begin to crack. And the moment you step into your truth, you stop waiting for permission and become the permission for everyone else. So if you felt disconnected, unsure, tired, alert, awake, confused, and aligned all at once, this isn't chaos, it's calibration. Group 7 is activating now. And if any part of this resonates, you're likely one of them. Because the moment you recognize yourself in this story, everything changes. 1. The delay that wasn't a delay. If you ever felt like your life has been placed on hold, not slow, not blocked, but paused, that feeling wasn't a coincidence. People in Group 7 almost always report this strange sensation, as if their potential was sitting behind an invisible door they weren't allowed to open yet. No matter how hard they tried to push forward, something held them back. And for years, this may have made you feel like you were falling behind, like everyone else was building their lives while you were standing still. But from a spiritual perspective, this wasn't procrastination or failure. It was timing. Some teachers describe it as a soul contract, a built-in delay meant to protect your energy until the world hit a vibrational threshold, one where your gifts would finally be understood rather than dismissed. For many in Group 7, earlier activation would have meant rejection, burnout, or going unnoticed. Your skills wouldn't have been recognized because the world wasn't ready to hear you yet. Now the atmosphere is shifting. The planet's vibration, as some describe it, is rising fast, and your internal pause is dissolving. You may notice synchronicities happening more often. Ideas that once felt impossible suddenly feel urgent. A quiet momentum is building around you. This isn't coincidence, it's alignment. You're not late. You're precisely on schedule, entering the moment your path was designed for. And the delay you once saw as punishment was actually preservation. But timing is only the first sign. The solitude you've carried for years has its own meaning too. 2. The sacred solitude you never chose. If you're part of Group 7, chances are you've grown comfortable with being alone, not because you dislike people, but because your nervous system gets overwhelmed by the spiritual noise most people don't notice. You're the kind of person who can walk into a crowded room and feel drained within minutes, not from conversation, but from the emotional static underneath it. Many individuals who resonate with Group 7 report that their deepest growth didn't come from communities or teachers, but from silence. Not loneliness, incubation, long nights where everyone else slept while you process your entire life. Quiet moments where your intuition sharpened not from effort, but from listening. Time spent feeling connected to something bigger than yourself, even if you couldn't explain what it was. And here's the paradoxical part. Even in isolation, you probably felt like you were part of a bigger network. A subtle field, a pulse, a quiet knowing that others like you were out there, unseen, scattered, waiting. Some call this a soul grid. Others think of it as energetic resonance. No matter the name, many people claim Group 7 members sense each other long before they meet. And now, that network is flickering awake. You might suddenly feel drawn to places you've never been or people you haven't met yet. You might sense a mission that feels too large for one person. This is a shift from isolation to synchronization. Because Group 7 wasn't meant to stay solitary forever. You were being calibrated. And the moment your energy matches the grid, everything accelerates. But solitude isn't the only unique marker. Something even stranger happens when the world goes to sleep. Free, the night activation. People in Group 7 often experience bizarre contradiction, exhaustion throughout the day, but as soon as they try to sleep, the inner world switches on. Thoughts speed up. Intuition buzzes. Dreams feel symbolic or strangely vivid. Your body wants rest, but your soul refuses to shut down. Some spiritual traditions suggest that this isn't ordinary insomnia, it's energetic activation. Reports claim that people with heightened sensitivity often react to cosmic shifts, lunar phases, geomagnetic activity, or sudden planetary changes. Whether or not these theories are literal, many people feel their intuition surge during late-night hours. You might feel ringing in your ears, chills down your arms, or pulses in your hands or chest. You might sense messages, images, or insights that appear without effort. These moments can feel random, but they often intensify during periods of global change. And according to those who observe awakening patterns, Group 7 members are particularly receptive to these nighttime alignments. This is why sleep may not feel like rest anymore, because your spiritual system is updating. You're not sleeping, you're recalibrating. And every late-night activation sharpens your awareness of what's real and what's illusion, which leads to the next sign, the one that makes Group 7 stand out the most. 4. Seeing through illusion. You don't just hear people, you feel them. You sense the sadness behind a smile, the fear behind anger, the truth behind polite words. You can't explain how you know, but you do. It's as if your intuition speaks a language most people forgot how to hear. This ability can make you feel misunderstood or even isolated. People sense they can't hide around you, even if they don't realize why. Some may pull away, not because you did anything wrong, but because your presence makes their mask uncomfortable. But this ability is exactly why Group 7 becomes crucial during collective shifts. You're able to pick up on dishonesty, emotional distortion, or energetic inconsistencies that others overlook. In a world full of noise and illusion, you become the filter, you become the clarity. Some spiritual observers believe that this heightened perception develops over years of silent refinement. Others claim it comes from past life or ancestral memory resurfacing. Either way, this gift isn't random, and it's growing stronger. Because once your perception opens, your soul begins remembering what it carried long before this life. And that's where the next sign appears. 5. The memory that isn't memory. Have you ever felt drawn to ancient cultures, symbols, or places you never studied, yet somehow understand? Have you ever walked through a city for the first time and felt like you've been there before? Or found yourself writing words or concepts you don't recall learning? Many people describe this as cellular memory, a kind of ancestral or spiritual knowledge encoded deeper than the mind. While not scientifically proven, this idea is common in metaphysical communities, that some souls carry wisdom from other timelines or lifetimes, and Group 7 members often report this phenomenon intensely. These flashes of recognition aren't random. They're reminders. Your soul is trying to piece together a mission that started long before this life. And according to some belief systems, Group 7 has unfinished work that requires remembering who you were across many lifetimes. And as your energy awakens, the world around you begins noticing something too. 6. Animals and children react to you. There's something about your energy that animals and children can't ignore. Birds stare at you. Dogs approach you with unusual curiosity. Babies lock eyes with you like they recognize something ancient. They react not to your words, but your vibration, because they aren't influenced by the mental noise adults carry. They feel frequency directly, and your frequency doesn't match the ordinary. It's clearer, sharper, less filtered. Some believe that souls in Group 7 carry a kind of nonverbal healing energy, an ability to comfort, calm, or shift people without needing to speak. This is why even strangers may relax around you, why children become quiet in your presence, why animals feel safe. Your energy is doing the work before you do anything consciously. And all these signs point toward the final, undeniable marker. 7. The pull toward a mission you can't name. You feel it every day now, the pressure building inside you, the restless awareness that something big is approaching, but you can't explain what it is. Your intuition is louder. Your instincts are sharper. You wake up some days with adrenaline, as if preparing for something unseen. Some describe this as spiritual prepositioning, a process where your soul starts aligning with places, people, and opportunities ahead of schedule. It's like being moved across a chessboard without knowing what the final move is. But your inner knowing keeps whispering that everything is unfolding exactly as it should. Group 7 isn't here just to awaken. They are here to awaken others. You are the final domino. Once you activate, your energy begins activating those around you without effort. You mentor without trying. You guide without planning. Your presence becomes a catalyst. And once that inner pull becomes undeniable, the next phase begins, the phase where awareness transforms into aligned action. 8. Stepping into alignment. Awakening gives you awareness, but alignment gives you impact. And once Group 7 steps into alignment, everything shifts rapidly. You start seeing old relationships fade without conflict. You attract new connections who feel strangely familiar. You walk into spaces and your energy shifts the room before you even speak. Your intuition guides you more boldly. Your boundaries strengthen. Your values sharpen. You begin trusting the inner voice you once doubted. And with every aligned choice, your vibration rises, sending out signals that ripple across your life. This is why Group 7 wasn't meant to gain attention or build massive platforms. You weren't designed to influence masses through performance. You were meant to influence through presence, by being exactly who you are. And when you live in that alignment, the world around you adjusts. Conclusion, the beginning. If you're hearing this and something in you recognizes it, not mentally, but energetically, then your activation has already started. None of this reached you by accident. The message carried your frequency from the beginning. Group 7 wasn't meant to lead the early stages of awakening. You were meant to arrive when it mattered most, when the world was losing its sense of direction. Your timing is perfect. Your journey is intentional. And your role is just beginning. So the question is no longer, am I chosen? The real question is, what will I do now that I know? Because every choice from this moment forward, every aligned action, every boundary, every burst of intuition activates a Group 7 frequency around the world. Welcome. The shift has begun, and the world has been waiting for you.